How many songs are about breakups? Out of all the music in all the world, what percent, do you think, is about not falling in love, but about what happens when love falls apart? I took this question to Google, and surprisingly, Google didn't know. Thousands of years of human knowledge on the internet and no answer to this particular question. Top search result was a Quora post answering a question about what percent of Taylor Swift songs are about breakups, which is an interesting point of data, but it doesn't answer this whole mystery. So I set up an experiment to try to find out, roughly, how many songs are about breakups. I say roughly because I can't analyze every song in existence as a one-person internet research team, so I had to narrow down the scope a little bit. Google had chosen the genre of music for me. Search for songs about breakups. The internet thinks you mean Taylor Swift songs, so fate and algorithms decided that this experiment is on pop music. Dataset is the Billboard year-end Hot 100 singles. That is a long title that sounds like it belongs on a really sketchy advertisement, but anyway. The list that Billboard makes of the most popular pop songs in a year. I analyzed the charts for this millennium so far, 2000 to 2021. For the sake of my sanity, I only looked at the 20 most popular songs, because 22 times Billboard's whole Hot 100 singles chart is a lot of lyrics to look up. Did I tell you I made a spreadsheet? I made a spreadsheet. Every experiment needs a hypothesis, so here's mine. I think 25% of songs are about breakups.
Today I drove through the suburbs, crying 'cause you weren't around.
2021 was a very sad year in pop music. 8 songs on Billboard's top 20 were about breakups. 3 of those songs were from the same album. Olivia Rodrigo's Sour is basically a concept album, and the concept is breakups. The songs hit so many of the emotional beats of heartbreak.
But I've never felt this way for no one.
Sadness in Driver's License, Anger in Good For You,
Maybe you'll never get it all.
and a blend of regret, contempt, and jealousy in Deja Vu. This inspired me to start categorizing songs, sorting the music I cataloged into different little subgenres of breakup song.
I would only be in your way.
There's the classic breakup song, Music for Goodbyes. Usually heartbroken, sometimes bittersweet. Your iconic, cry along with the car radio type material.
Never mind, I'll find someone like you.
Then there's the angry breakup song. Somebody lied or somebody cheated. Someone is a terrible ex and the song is mad about it. In this subgenre, property damage and general mayhem are optional, but encouraged.
Call my name into his legacy.
Some breakup songs are about feeling better at the end of a relationship, or about finding someone new, or about being confident single.
And that's the sound of me not calling you back.
Usually great for dancing. I call these the better off alone type. And then there's the breakup/makeup song, songs to beg somebody to take you back. Songs about on-again, off-again dynamics that sound kind of unhealthy.
Boys only want love if it's torture.
There's a lot of variation in this subgenre, but this is the, oh god, I don't want this relationship to end, but it might. 2020's most popular songs were 25% breakup related, with an impressive variety across categories. We had an insanely catchy Better Off Alone song.
Don't stop caring about me now.
And this guy releasing a breakup song that really reminded me of a cat yowling.
For now the day bleeds into nightfall.
What? I was feeling pretty good at this point in the experiment. Confident that I would be right, or right-ish, about the percent of songs that were about breakups. Maybe the numbers would come in even higher than I expected. And then the data had other ideas. 2019 was a great year for breakup songs, then 2018 was a good year, and then 2017 was completely different. 7 songs down, squashed by Ed Sheeran and Justin Bieber, right under Bad and Bougie, was Closer by the Chainsmokers.
I know it breaks your heart.
Okay, somebody moved to the city and didn't call for 4 years. They make out and then they go their separate ways, so this fits into the breakup/makeup song category. The only breakup song in 2017's top 20 songs. The mid-2010s dragged down the average of breakup songs. By 2015, Taylor Swift seemed like the only person interested in keeping that 25% estimate alive. The number one song of 2014 was called Happy, and I was pretty sure at this point that my hypothesis was completely wrong. I continued the experiment. There's a section in my spreadsheet for notes. In a normal scientific study, this is where you suggest directions for future research or make observations about things that happened in your data. That's what the notes section of my spreadsheet was supposed to be. It turned into what I can only describe as a live stream of a descent into madness. See, I had to close read a bunch of Maroon 5 lyrics to analyze whether or not the most popular songs on the charts around this time were technically breakup songs. And things got a little dark. For the sake of my own deranged science fair project, I had to watch a music video starring a dude whose tattoos look like clip art going on about a relationship that involves throwing things and slamming doors. So he's breaking up with this lady, but also he's hooking up with her because her makeup is great. I know making fun of Maroon 5 on the internet is not as edgy as I think it is, but bear with me, I have analyzed a lot of songs at this point. As I complained to my spreadsheet and seriously contemplated the life choices I'd made up to that point, something magical happened. A trend in the data emerged. Stabilized. Crystallized. 30% breakup songs in 2012, 15% in 2011, 15% again in 2010, back up to 20% in 2009. When you see my face, hope it gives you hell, hope it gives you hell. The trend continued through the MySpace years. 20% in 2008 and 2007, 15% in 2005, 2004 was thoroughly feeling its feelings with 30% breakup songs. These wounds won't seem to heal. This pain is just too real. The Y2K era was a little all over the place, but 440 songs later, I had my answer. Here are the statistics. On average, popular songs are 20.9% breakup songs. Here's the median, mean, quartiles, all that sort of thing if you're interested. I'm going to go ahead and round up and say that, on average, the most popular songs are 21% breakup related. Not quite as high as my hypothesis, but not bad. All things considered, I felt pretty close to correct. Pretty good about the whole thing. You might even say that I felt vindicated. I am right. I swear I'm right. Might even swear I knew it all along. What's a video like this without reference jokes? This is, admittedly, not a perfect experiment. There are at least 79 million songs in existence, so the exact percentage of breakup songs may be a little different than what my numbers show. Maybe someday an artificial intelligence or someone with a lot more patience for analyzing song lyrics will come along and create a better experiment, but for now, I'm pretty happy with my data. With one mystery semi-solved, there was still one mystery left. Why are so many songs about breakups? I went back to my original Google search. The second result, under that Quora question about Taylor Swift, was an article called, "Why Are There So Many Songs About Breakups?" Well, website, I am wondering the exact same thing. The article was from 2013, on a website that I had never heard of before, but if the almighty search algorithm puts it in such an important spot, maybe it has something to say. 2, 3, 4. The author of this article argues that music changed, that songs today are focused on heartbreak, but that wasn't always true because millennials ruined everything, I guess. Quote from the article: "The teens of the 60s and 70s certainly never dated as young as the kids of the millennium. The dating and breaking up lifestyle of teenagers today has called for music that reflects this generational shift. Young adults in the 1960s had a much different frame of mind than today's young adults. Even amidst struggles for peace and civil rights, young adults believed that they could make a difference." More words like this, and then, "They had an optimistic outlook that attracted them to happier, optimistic songs about strengthening relationships." Now, I thought that I was done making spreadsheets of pop songs, but somebody was maybe wrong on the internet. I'm not sure I believe that baby boomers are so much different than everybody else, and nothing compares to the flawless, pristine pop culture of the 1960s. My humble opinion is that every decade produces both great art and absolute garbage. So I went in and looked at a few years worth of songs from the baby boomer era. Did that optimistic outlook translate into a noticeable difference in terms of what percent of songs were about breakups? The data says, na na na, nah. My new nemesis, the article Why Are So Many Songs About Breakups, talked about Hey Jude, so I started with the year that song came out, 1968. Hey Jude was the #1 song on the Billboard chart that year. It is, like the article said, an optimistic song, but it does fit into the breakup/makeup song category.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad.
After all, the song is from the perspective of a friend of Jude in this whole situation, and we never hear from Jude or the lady on the other side of the equation. Does she want to let him back into her heart? What did Jude do exactly that now he has to go out and make it better? We don't know. So to me, this still counts as a breakup song. 1968 also saw more stereotypical sad breakup songs on the charts like Love is Blue and Cry Like a Baby.
Young girl, get out of my mind.
And then there's this one, a song about ending a relationship with a girl who is much too young for the guy. Apparently she tricked him because she was wearing makeup.
You're just a baby in disguise.
Did men in 1968 think makeup was witchcraft? A strange theme I'm discovering in this experiment is that according to pop music, makeup has mind control powers. Anyway, I don't want to think about this song anymore. I have no coherent reactions to the age difference or blaming a young person for daring to wear makeup, so we are moving on out of 1968, a year with a total breakup count of 5 out of 20, or 25%. I also chose a randomly selected year in the 1970s, since, teens in the 60s and 70s certainly never dated as young as the kids of the millennium. In 1972, 6 out of 20 of the Hot 100 songs were breakup songs, so that's 30% if you like percents.
It seems to me that there are more hearts broken in the world that can't be mended.
At this point, I realized I was 1 year away from having 500 songs analyzed. 500 is a cool-looking number, so I analyzed one more year just to see if the trend still showed up in the 80s. 7 breakup songs cracked the top 20 spots in Billboard's Hot 100 in 1984. Out of the top 5 singles on the year-end list, 4 of them are breakup songs. At #1, When Doves Cry, perhaps the greatest breakup/makeup song of all time. Followed by What's Love Got to Do With It, where Tina Turner asked,
Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken?
Then at #3, Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson sat by the phone in tears with Say, Say, Say. Kenny Loggins crashed the pity party with Footloose, so #4 is not a breakup song, that's a gap in the streak. But coming in at #5 is the divorced dad ballad for the ages, Phil Collins' Against All Odds, Take a Look at Me Now. Now, I have a theory that there is some type of mathematical correlation between the years when the most breakup songs and the years that produce the greatest pop music on record, but that is maybe another experiment for another day. What I can say now is that the data suggests that the baby boomer taste in breakup song is not very different than everybody else's. Here are the statistics again with 25 years of chart data. 500 songs analyzed. 22% of pop songs are about breakups. But still part of the mystery remained unsolved. Why do all of us, apparently regardless of generation, love sad songs so much? Why, in a genre of music like pop that is engineered to be consumable, listened to by as many people as possible, why are 22-ish% of those songs about such a sad subject? Scientists have theories. One researcher proposed a model saying that listening to sad songs releases some of the same hormones that flow through your brain when you cry. Prolactin, especially, helps you feel better after you have a good cry, and one researcher thought that listening to sad songs gets you some of the feel-good chemicals without any actual crying.
I cried and cried all day.
But it turns out that this is a theory rather than an experiment carried out for real in a laboratory. Interesting thought, though. In interviews with psychologists and therapists, I learned that sad music can help us process our feelings. Feel those emotions, remember that other people feel this way too, and then start to put the pain in context and, in theory, heal from that. All of that good stuff. All of this is fascinating to me, and I almost ended the video here. But I didn't feel like I was answering the question completely. I realized that I was talking about a very emotional topic in terms of numbers and categories, but not so much in feelings. So, I guess, to really share what I learned about breakups so far, I have to actually talk about feelings. Let me tell you a story. I was in high school, the first time I made a breakup playlist. It was the first time I'd experienced honest-to-God heartbreak. I thought that I was emotionally prepared for it because I had watched a lot of sad movies, read a lot of really intense books, because I had a good therapist, and because I had learned coping strategies from fan fiction, but nothing really prepares you for the first time you hear, "I don't love you anymore." I couldn't sleep at night for a long time afterwards. I began building my masterpiece of teenage angst, the great, big breakup playlist. It had the classics, the contemporary classics, a lot of Tori Amos.
Nothing to do is good enough for you.
The first song on my breakup playlist was, and will probably always be Hey Jupiter by Tori Amos. Because the whole song is perfect, and the first line is somehow even more than perfect, when your heart is broken and you have to realize no one's picking up the phone.
No one's picking up the phone.
At first, the great big breakup playlist was just abject misery, the saddest songs that I could find. Over time, I started adding makeup/breakup songs to the playlist, as if, by listening to a lot of songs about getting back together, I could trick the universe into changing reality.
Nothing compares.
One night, sometime around 4 a.m, I was listening to the great big breakup playlist. Hey Jupiter came on again, and I thought, here I am, on the actual floor, listening to a very nice, very sad song, but in that moment, the gap between the beauty of that song and the reality of my situation stood out, clear as revelation. Somehow, on the millionth listen, the song changed, and the words, "No one's picking up the phone," were not an earth-shattering revelation that ruined the world forever, but a fact that I had to live with.
No one's picking up the phone. Guess it's clear he's killed.
Not that I was calling anyone at 4 a.m, mind you, but no one's picking up the phone is a pretty similar feeling to no one answered the text message I sent weeks ago. And finally, in that moment, I thought, maybe I should get some sleep.
Ooh, yes. Hey, Jupiter.
I rebuilt that breakup playlist over weeks and months, made it a little bit less, "My heart is broken and my life is ruined and everything is terrible forever," and a little bit more, "Well, this sucks, but maybe things will get better somehow." And when one of my closest friends got her heart broken for real, I rebuilt that breakup playlist, and this time it had a story arc. It started in the pits of despair with the saddest, bestest songs I knew. There were a couple of Tori Amos songs in that playlist because, well, I couldn't make it any other way. Then the playlist took a hard left turn with some solid, angry breakup songs, before ending with a track about being better off alone and getting better over time.
I'll survive. I will survive.
My friend liked it. Years later, she texted me to ask if I had heard that Tori Amos had a new album out. After all of the time and all of the space and the various busy work of being a grown-up, there we were, once again, talking about the music that used to make us feel better. Magic. That's why, I think, 20.9%, or 22%, or whatever you find if you choose to try my experiment for yourself. That's why so many songs are about breakups. Because as much as I want to quantify exactly how many songs are on the subject, as much as I want a scientific explanation for everything, there's just something intangible about a really good, sad song. The best kind of breakup song is there for you when all the hurt is new and fresh. And that very same song can show up at 4 a.m. to help you learn that maybe there's life after heartbreak. And that music turns into a tiny piece of you that maybe you share with someone. That magic, that little bit of getting better, that's why so many songs are about breakups.